How do we improve our GA4? At the highest level, there's 4 major steps that we need to take into consideration as we're building things out. Number 1, before you even start with GA4, identify your KPIs. Maybe you need to focus on fixed ops. You need to focus on scheduled services. So we can have consultations with you to figure out what is most important to your dealership. From there, that's when we're going to go in. We're going to create custom events to get that qualitative data to really be able to customize your reports to you. You are going to define custom dimensions, and all of this is going to come together so you can measure value, you can see attributions, and you can make your report yours because your dealership matters. How do we use, view, and edit these reports? 4 comes with default reports. You'll see them in the left-hand menu. One that's new is overview reports, and this is a combination of many different types of charts. One thing that's cool about this is we no longer have to set up our core cohort analysis. It includes it for us. It gives us real-time information, what's happening on the site right now. And they're editable. Sometimes there may be graphs or charts that aren't very important to look at, and we can remove them and edit them in the same way we'd edit normal reports. The second and more common type of report we're going to see that's very similar to Universal Analytics is these detail reports. And these are tables paired with line graphs. We'll look at table, line graph, whatever your first defined metric is, your default metric, it's going to be based on that, the charts, and then your dimensions going to be the x-axis over time. That's how to read this. Next, you can also create your own reports from scratch. You can use a template, and the way to do that is you can very simply navigate to your library, and you can create a new report, overview, traffic, or detail. They've got some templates for you can create from scratch. Another fun thing we'll get into in a second is editing the existing reports. Once you've created your reports or made edits to existing ones, you can create your own little section in GA4 called a collection. That's what this is. This is considered a collection, and from the reports you've created, you can put it in there. So if you're wondering, how did we get something so unique with little breakdowns of what we're paying for, library, create a collection, we can go into this. We can even edit it. We can rearrange things. We can put in overview reports we've created. We can drop them in. We can search them, throw them in there. And then finally, we're going to save changes, or if we make so many edits, we want to create a new one, we can save it as a new collection. Just make sure for it to actually show up that you publish it. So we're going to publish, and it'll appear to view GA4 reports. The general structure that you're going to have is you're going to have primary grouping. That's the first dimension. You're going to have a secondary grouping. In this screenshot, it's a region. You're also going to want to add sometimes comparisons. You're going to want to see, did we get compared to web or desktop traffic? You can compare vendors, how they're stacking up against each other. And finally, you can even add filters to filter down types of information you're looking for in a report. Filters can be very important to filtering out junk traffic, because I would consider anything coming out of a completely different state to not be relevant. I'm going to quickly go through the general idea behind how to create them, and then I'm actually going to walk you through how to create and edit these reports. First, we're going to click the edit icon, which is just this little pencil, and then it's going to bring us to dimensions. But the first thing we're going to work on is the roads we want to look at. We're going to make sure we set them as default so they show up. We're going to apply our changes. We're going to repeat step 2 with the metrics. And finally, after all of that, we're going to add filters and then a comparison. So what does that look like? Right here, we have it already set up, but I'm going to remove these and remove my filter and remove my comparison. Now we have a blank report. Where do we start with? Pencil icon. Now we're going to do dimensions, and maybe I want to see the actual event name. So I will type in event name. And there we go. And we will set that as a default and apply. Now we know the events that are happening. We will know edit metrics. And for example, we can do event count and click apply, or maybe event count's really important. So we drag it to the top, set it as a default, apply. And now first and foremost, we're looking at the event count. Then we can add filters. Let's say in this scenario, maybe I want to look at events, but specifically events that happened on a page path, which is really just the URLs. And we can say exactly matches. I want to do finance pages, only search pages for new, used, and all. Click apply. And now we're just looking at events that happened on those pages. So maybe you want to look at events that happen just on finance forms. You can edit to do that. Now we can add a comparison after we save. We can save changes to the current report. I do not recommend doing this if you are editing an existing built-in preset report, because when you save changes to it, it'll basically permanently alter that. I'd prefer to save it as a new report and name it something descriptive, like events on finance and search pages. Save. Now we have this, and then from here, got something blocking it, but we can go back already, and now we can add a comparison. So let's say these events happened on our website, how much came from mobile and how much came from desktop. Apply. And now we have nice little neat charts, and we can say, oh, mobile was 51% of all of this traffic to search and finance. So maybe we want to eliminate desktop, or we want to break out our campaigns in, let's say, Facebook, and we're going to push more money into mobile than desktop campaigns. So very useful. Alrighty, exploration reports. This is where it gets a little bit difficult. There are a lot of different types of exploration, but the three that I would focus on: freeform, segment overlap, which is a Venn diagram, and path, which is user journey. These can be used to answer important questions like how many and which vehicles were looked at on my website. You can take a list of vehicles, again, do that match back. How many people who visited a VDP also visited a finance form? Which pages did they visit when they went to my website? Where did they go? So we have our custom dimension to allow us to look at VINs. We have metrics like sessions. If we want to add a metric, we can, or we can also drag and drop existing ones that are included. So now let's look at, okay, more people are going to used than new. But the good news is that we can see a near complete overlap of finance applications. So even though we have a lot more people going to VDPs, those who do are going to go and submit a finance form. So good news for us there. Also, this is what page path looks like. They went to our website. They started a session. They went to VDPs, specifically which ones, which vehicles are they looking at? New. We can see all the pages that they're looking at, just the names. We can look at used. These are the used vehicles they're looking at. And now we can make decisions about where we want to spend our money.